Welcome to JMO with Josh and Joe. It is Tuesday, January 10th, already 2023, my man, and the playoffs are set. We are. I don't know how I feel about the matchups just yet. I mean, we'll obviously go through them a little bit, but I think we might be in for some first round blowouts. What do you think?
Yeah, there was some teams that got good matchups, you can tell, and honestly, Vegas can tell too. But and then there were some other ones. There'll be some other ones that are going to be good, but we'll have to see because I mean it's playoffs time, so like you have to come to play, and you know if the favored team doesn't come to play, I mean we very well could see a very good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, we kind of had a semi-entertaining Week 18 for what it's worth. Like there was some blowouts, obviously, in some games that didn't matter, but there was also games like the Lions-Packers game, the Jaguars-Titans. It might not have been the funnest games to watch, but they were still, with all the implications that were surrounding the game. It was intense.
Yep.
I do want to mention Damar Hamlin's back in Buffalo. He's doing well. He's walking around and stuff. So he was discharged from the hospital. I don't know if he's walking around. I just know he was discharged.
Yeah, he was discharged from the hospital. That's the news we got.
Always good news, and it was nice. We'll talk about the Buffalo game later on, but one last thing I have before we get to the games is any fantasy league that goes into the last week of the season for their championship needs to be shut down.
Needs to be shut down.
It is so stupid.
Fire your commissioner.
Fire your commissioner. Do whatever you need to do. Your fantasy football league should not go into the last week because it's stupid. People rest their starters. People are some people aren't playing. Some people are playing. Some coaches want to win to spite their team. Some coaches want to lose so they can get a better draft pick. You never know what's going to happen. Week 18 is so far up in the air.
Yeah, Raiders, for instance, are benching Derek Carr because they don't want to hurt him because they want to keep his trade value still intact, and they're starting Jarrett Stidham.
Exactly. And like the Giants, they're in the playoffs. They have no reason to start any of their starters. I'm pretty sure the Chargers rested most of their starters. Yep. Like they might have started the game, but they didn't play the whole game. So yeah, if your commissioner is adamant about going through Week 18 for your fantasy league, fire him. He's done. You got anything else before we get to the games?
That's it. Let's get into it.
I know we do have a quick ad, and then we'll get right to the games. This episode of JMO at Josh and Joe is brought to you by Anchor. Joe and I love Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's literally the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Joe and I love it because it saves us time, and time is money. In just a few clicks, you can have your podcast up everywhere where podcasts are played, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and more. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one user-friendly place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So go now and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, first game is going to be Chiefs versus Raiders. Joe, tell me you're bored without telling me you're bored. That's kind of what I gathered from this game. The Chiefs, they were bored.
Yeah.
They literally did like a fucking Ring-Around-The-Rosie play.
Yeah. I honestly, the best meme that encapsulated it the best for me was that it was like the Chiefs were playing with their food. You know, it's mealtime and they're playing with their food.
It's just a spoiled kid that they always get what they want. They just have to find new ways to get what they want now. Mm-hmm. You had your Patrick Mahomes classic shovel pass. That's become a staple of Patrick Mahomes' play. It's just he's gonna do some fun looking pass. Just what is it gonna be of? And like he played it so well because he got so close to the line of scrimmage to where both the defenders had to bite. Yeah. They had to bite or else he would have just walked right on in because he was 3 yards from the end zone. And then he just shoveled it. So, I mean, congratulations on the Kansas City Chiefs for the first round bye. It's huge, especially in that very, very tough AFC division, conference. So they'll be able to use that and rest some players. What were your takes on this one?
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about in the past how, Kansas City was not getting up for these games. So I guess this was Andy Reid's creative way of doing that.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him because it is tough. Like when you're this good, it's only easy to get up for the games that are big.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Eagles, those types of games. Mm-hmm. It's tough to get up for the Raiders, especially when there's nothing. There's nothing here.
Does that bring us to, because there's quite a few teams that have done this throughout the year, and it seems to be having success with it. And anytime you can get the defense off guard, it's definitely it's a success for the offense. But these quick huddles, as far as going back from the huddle quickly into their formation and then hiking the ball, is that going to be the new hurry up offense?
It seems like it could go in that direction because it does because the defense as well as the offense is sitting there reading, how they're lined up and then reading their formation and then kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do from there. And I mean, the offense does similar to it, but I mean, if it's working out this way, I do think it could go that direction. Obviously, some conditioning would have to be done, but I mean, you're NFL players, you have to be conditioned.
Yeah. So, and then I guess the last thing I got on this is a lot of people are calling for Josh McDaniels' head.
Yeah, dude, this is ridiculous. I was going to save this for later, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Unless you're in an Urban Meyer situation, how the fuck are you going to fire your coach after 1 year? It's hard to turn around a program that it's almost like you don't want to. If you're a new coach, you want to go to some place like the Texans organization, something that doesn't have very high hopes, or the Chicago Bears, where there's a rebuilding period, and so don't go into situations that are going to get you fired the next year. The Raiders, for some reason, I don't know why, they thought that they were going to be in the playoffs and Super Bowl contenders. You have Derek Carr as your quarterback. Yeah, sure, you got Devontae Adams. You got Josh Jacobs. You got some pieces on defense. But you're not that good of a team overall. I don't think so, at least. So, let Josh McDaniels have some time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This will be a recurring theme as we go down the list of coaches because, I mean, we had Black Monday just happened, which wasn't as bad, but it was some, a lot of assistants and, some head coaches that got let go, which it is a sad time for those guys, in their personal life. Most of the time they get bounced back though, too.
Hence why it's called Black Monday. Also, you are making lots of money in the NFL, so you'll be okay, boo-boo. I promise. You got anything else on this one?
That's it.
All right. Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-13. Titans, Jaguars. I don't know what to say. I mean, the Titans, they need a quarterback. I feel like that might be the answer to all of their problems. Just get somebody who is competent behind center.
I was about to say, honestly, if there was anything that Josh Dobbs proved is that basically they need to move on from Ryan Tannehill. Because if somebody can come in, because Mike Vrabel's got a system that if somebody can come in for 2 weeks and get learn the system and be at least competent, then you can do better than Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, I feel like we've been saying that for a while now, but Ryan Tannehill, he's that quarterback, man. It's like the quarterbacks we talk about that do just good enough to keep their backup job. Mm-hmm. He does just good enough to keep his starting job. Yeah, he wins some games, brings you to the playoffs. Maybe has like a 300-yard, 3-touchdown game every now and then. Show you he's still got it, and then he just rides on the shoulders of Derrick Henry.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we're getting to that crossroads. I think they're going to try to move on. I have a feeling they're going to move on from him, whether it's free agency or maybe draft another quarterback, because you only drafted Malik Willis in the 3rd round.
Right. It's in if you're going to play Josh Dobbs, who's been there for 2 weeks, over Malik Willis, you saw something you didn't like. Yeah. There's a clear problem and glaring problem in that, at least as far as the quarterbacks go and for Tennessee. On a bright note for them, Derrick Henry's stiff arm on Jenkins was fire. Yes. He's always good for a nice stiff arm. Dude, the Jags were down most of the game. So, kudos to Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson should be in talks for Coach of the Year. If you're going to take an Urban Meyer-led 3-14 or whatever the fuck they were team to the playoffs, they were 3-14 under Urban Meyer like 1 year ago to the playoffs. I think that deserves Coach of the Year talk.
Yeah.
You cleaned up what numbnuts of Urban Meyer did to Jaguars and brought them to the playoffs.
I mean, they were literally up assholes last year, and then this year, they're into the playoffs.
They were getting pegged, and now they're pegging. So
yeah,
good for you, bud. I'm not gonna shit on Josh Dobbs or anything because he was there for like 2 weeks or whatever. But man, you can't check down on 4th and 13 with like 1 minute left in the game, bro.
Yeah.
You don't check down. You can't do that, man. Again, this is like an inexperienced thing. But man, that stung.
Yeah, but I honestly saw the play from the field view camera, and I don't know if that was really a good play because they had three of their receivers that went all to the first down line, and then they had a tight end and their running back onto the flats. So the tight end and running back were wide open, which is why he threw it to him. And then all the other defenders literally swarmed with those other three guys that were just basically did hook routes.
So you think it was a bad call?
I think it was a bad play call. You have to have people moving. You can't have them stop like that on a hook play, and especially all of them by the first down line where the entire defense is going to be.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody deep. You got to stretch the defense out. The whole defense was clustered. I think he had to do what he had to do. I think maybe he could have like scrambled out of the pocket and they'd had something, some wide receiver break away from the route and get open. That was his only opportunity that play, but I didn't like that play call.
No, I get it. I think he probably should have just tried to needle it in there, like thread the needle and squeeze it in somewhere. Cause I guess you could try and let your player make a play, but. So yeah, the Titans are not going to the playoffs. The Jaguars are, and I'm here for it. Doug Peterson took that same team and just turned it around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year, baby. You got anything else on this?
I do want to say this. This is maybe a little bit controversial, but so Dobbs had a fumble that was taken for a touchdown late in that game.
Scoop and score, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what kind of like that. That's what finalized it almost.
I think if he's Tom Brady, that's an incomplete pass.
Oh, I mean, that one was tough. His arm got hit before it was like even going forward.
I think because I like to favor defense, nowadays. I like a good defense. I really do think it was a fumble, but I think if that was Tom Brady, I think they call it an incomplete pass.
Really? I don't think it was that close. I think it was like
he like there was like some push to it, but I don't think he had control. That's why I say
the ball was still in his hand, but it was like slipping out, and then when he was throwing forward, that's when it just flew out of his hand. I think it was the right call on the field, but yeah, you do make a point there. You make a point. Let's see. Titans lose to the Jaguars 16-20. It was kind of a rough game.
But it was a good one. It was a good play. It was good play in your end game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was nice. It had a playoff vibe to it.
Yeah.
Playoff vibe. All right, well, I guess we kind of have to talk about this game. Saints versus Panthers. Boring-ass game. Fuck this. Let's get rid of Andy Dalton. Let's get rid of Pete Carmichael. Let's get rid of Dennis Allen, but I kind of want to keep him. I just want to keep him on as a defensive coordinator. I like our defense this year. It was just...
So just bring back Sean Payton.
Bring back Sean Payton, maybe get us...
Who has no interest of coming back to New Orleans.
I know, it sucks.
But, you're with a lot of people as far as people wanting to get rid of Dennis Allen. And I looked into it. It's not going to happen, especially the way he was kind of able to turn around the defense.
Oh, yeah.
He can point to something and be like, hey, it's the offense. We got to get the offense fixed up. My specialty, my defense is doing well.
And he's not wrong, because there was quite a few games where we had close games that if the offense would have put at least some points on the board. We had a Zach Wilson type of thing, whereas if Andy Dalton was a spoiled white kid, he probably would have said that.
Yeah.
Because there were times where Andy Dalton was not putting up points at all, or yards at all, but our defense just kept us in it.
So it's because Andy Dalton's a humble guy. He was able to finesse his way into staying as the quarterback.
Oh yeah, if he would have said what Zach Wilson said, he would have been out.
He would have been out. Yeah. No, I actually have some stats that actually do support that. So the defense in the last 8 games held opponents to 20 points or less. And honestly, the only one team got 20 points. And if they would have had a top 20 offense, they would have been 8-0 those last couple of games. They went 4-4 those games. And they have a number 22 offense with 19.4 points a game.
Jeez, come on.
So
like, it's there. So like everything's there. We just need the quarterback. So let's. I don't want Derek Carr, but fuck, if that's the best option out there.
Throw some Derek Carr and Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. Just light them up.
That might work out. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I'm not sold on Derek Carr, but if you guess maybe somebody like Cliff Kingsbury that can work with that, can call some decent plays, that might work. But yeah, our misery's over now. We can die in peace, I guess.
Yep.
So, anyways, Saints lose to the Panthers 7-10. All right, let's get to a better game. Bills versus Patriots. This is like kind of I feel like what everyone wanted and more. This was like, I mean, we can talk. There's so many things we can talk about. Obviously, let's get to the beginning. Nyheim Hines is so fast.
Yes.
On DeMar Hamlin Day, I guess we're gonna call that. On Hamlin Day, he ran the kickoff return back for 100 yards, and he's so fast, so fucking fast.
Did it twice.
Yeah, that was the first time. I think the Patriots had allowed two kick returns in the same game. I don't think they've allowed that in like the last 20-something years or something like that.
I was about to say that doesn't seem like a stat that happens very often.
No, that's not a Bill Belichick thing. And it got done by the same person. That's the crazy part. On Hamlin Day. It was wild. It was a feel good story. It really did. It made everybody feel good.
Especially since it was the opening kickoff. They had all the kind of ceremonial stuff tributes that they did to DeMar Hamlin, which was awesome to see, all the different outfits and all the different signs that the fans made. Really giving the support and love to DeMar Hamlin. And then Bills come out of right at the kickoff and just return it for a touchdown. That place was just nuts.
Yeah, they were kind of doomed from the start once that happened.
Yep.
I mean, now credit to the Patriots. They kept clawing their way back in. It seemed like every time the Bills were going to pull away, the Patriots would keep it a one-score game. Mm-hmm. So like it just felt like the momentum was the Bills' way the whole game. But again, credit to the Patriots. They kept it. They kept clawing back. It was quite an uncharacteristic special teams game for Bill. I know we talked about it just now, but he usually has pretty good special teams, right?
Yeah, he's got good special teams coverage, good defense. Yeah, I would have to say so.
Great game. The Bills are going to end up playing 8th seed Miami, I think. Yeah, they're playing Miami. I just don't know if they were the 8th seed or not. But yeah, or 7th seed. Sorry, 7th seed. Yeah, so it's 2 seed Bills playing the 7th seed Miami Dolphins. We'll get to that later, but I think that should be a cakewalk.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I had on this game was Buffalo just loves streaks. Yeah. They love throwing streaks. I think it's the new Ben Roethlisberger Pittsburgh offense, where they just love just throwing it or seeing how far Josh Allen can throw it down the field.
It's like how strong is your arm this week?
Yeah,
and I'm here for it. I love seeing those plays. It's like you got a one-on-one coverage. You see the receiver and the cornerback going at it. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So I hope that keeps going. Plus, Stephon Diggs is just a monster. Let's see. The Bills beat the Patriots 35-23. Let's get to the Vikings versus Bears and the Texans versus Colts. I'm doing both of these together just because this was more of a fight for the number one pick than we actually cared about the game.
Yeah.
I love Lovie Smith. I absolutely love Lovie Smith. It was the biggest fuck you to the Houston Texans organization.
Yep.
It was just like he knew he was getting fired, and he just said, "Fuck you, Houston."
Like,
fuck you.
Yeah.
That is like, if you're gonna go out, that's the way to fucking go out.
that's the way to do it.
Fuck your number 1 draft pick, motherfucker. I'm out.
And like, I mean, he got set up to fail.
He did.
Like, you're going to hand the keys off to the worst roster in the league, and you're like, oh, well, you didn't do good enough. It's like, didn't have much to actually do with.
I think again, goes back to our topic we were talking about earlier about firing coaches after 1 year. I think in this situation, I think he was basically just an interim for a year. I think essentially they
hired a bridge coach.
Yes. So like, there really wasn't anyone that they were interested in hiring, so they hired him as a bridge coach. It's basically a glorified interim for this year. So I don't think they really, unless Lovie Smith took him to the playoffs, I don't think he had much of a shot, which is kind of fucked up. But
yeah,
then
that
again,
is messed up.
Then again, I guess the Houston Texans had eyes on somebody else. I don't know. I really do think it's ridiculous. A coach can't turn. I mean, unless he's Doug Peterson, he can't turn a program around like that in 1 year. It just won't. It doesn't happen.
Well, I think that's what the NFL is getting, and owners are getting spoiled with, is that there's these coaches that just come in and do an incredible job. Those first years. There shouldn't be anything taken away from them, but you're not going to realistically have every good coach come in and do well on their first year.
No.
You got to really evaluate the circumstances of like what that team state is and what they have to do to turn things around. And just give them maybe a couple of years. But
yeah, let them get some momentum. Like,
yeah.
It's hard to instill a program into, like, or the way you want to do things into a program and have it rolling right off the bat. Like, it's kind of what people are expecting nowadays. Do you think I do have a question? Do you think that, like, all right, so he went for it on a 2-point conversion instead of tying the game, right? It was after that. Lovie Smith at the end of the game went for the 2-point conversion instead of tying, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think he got fired because of that, or do you think he did that because he knew he was getting fired?
I would love to think that like it's petty enough that he like knew that he was getting fired and he was just like, hey, look, here goes your number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. But realistically, he probably just likes coaching to win, like most coaches do. They just like winning football games.
Yeah.
So honestly, I would have to say that, but yeah, I think also in the back of his mind, I mean, he's a smart guy. He knows the situation and what's going on. He's probably like, fuck you.
I think I'm gonna go with that one. I think he just said fuck you. The last thing I have is we didn't have a Nathan Peterman interception, so I was pretty bummed out about that one.
Yeah, but we had a Nathan Peterman sighting. Mm-hmm. Like how is that guy still finessing his way through the league?
Yeah, right.
I mean, he just keeps showing up.
I don't know. I mean, he throws just 4 interceptions in one half, like it's his job.
Like he hasn't done enough to even be a backup.
I know. That's like practice squad numbers.
Yeah, I mean, this man should have been in the Canadian Football League a long time ago.
Yeah, for sure. Like, do you think he's just a great salesman? Do you think he's good at like finessing people?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's people that know the playbook too find themselves in systems or in the league for quite some time. Mm-hmm. Because you could either teach the playbook to the starter or I think the knowledge part of it is a big part.
It's the experience that he has, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really like the smart quarterbacks that they'll keep in the league for a while because, I mean, obviously they're smart too, so they know how to kind of manipulate those coaches like, hey, you need me. This is what you need me for.
Oh, absolutely. You got anything else in this game?
That's it.
All right. Congratulations to the Bears. You are officially on the clock. You got the number 1 pick. So yep. Vikings beat the Bears and Texans beat the Colts on a crazy, crazy ending.
Shout out to Patrick Peterson and Devin McCourty. They got their 35th for McCourty and 34th career interceptions.
Wow. That's wild. That would have been crazier if they both got 35.
Right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a ball hog. All right, let's get to Ravens Bengals. Do you know if the Ravens are going to have Lamar Jackson? Because they're going to play the Bengals again, which I'm not too excited about. But
he is scheduled for the playoffs. That's from the reports that I've heard. That's what the timetable was.
Okay,
now, whether that changes or not, I don't know.
That's tough because he hasn't practiced in like 5 weeks or something like that, and he's just going to get thrown into the play. Which he's not. He's no stranger to the playoffs. So like that's not. He It's just when you skip practice for that long, it's tough to come right back in and play a playoff game, especially against the Bengals, who are clearly on a roll right now. They obviously let up in the second half, but that was because they started off so strong. It's tough to keep that going. I don't know.
I have to agree. This shouldn't tarnish Lamar Jackson's reputation. If whatever he does in this game, it shouldn't be like, oh, he can't be a franchise quarterback because of this playoff game. It's like, no, he hasn't played it down in quite some time. He's going to have to brush the rust off a little bit and like get that chemistry back with his receivers. One of which he's probably never actually played with much with Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, but the Ravens are going to use that against him because they're obviously trying to work out a contract.
Yep.
They might franchise tag him.
You think so?
Next year, yeah, I think they will. I think I don't know. I don't think it would be in the best interest for the. I don't think it's going to be in the best interest for both of them. I just don't think they're going to come to an agreement because Baltimore's not going to want to pay him all that guaranteed money. Yeah, Deshaun Watson fucked it.
Yep, Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson.
Which that's fine. They if the players should go get your money. That's fine. But as far as from a managerial standpoint, it's tough. It's tough to throw out all that money and all that guaranteed money because you don't really have much wiggle room later on. But this was a decent game. I think I want to show some loves to the Cincinnati defense. Eli Apple, Von Bell, Logan Wilson, Bates, they're all just monsters. Eli Apple and Von Bell both have 4 interceptions. Logan Wilson's all over the field. Hendrickson is the disruptor. He's such a fucking good tackler. He's so good in the trenches. Mm-hmm. I just want to because I know Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, they all get love. I want to throw some love the Cincinnati defense way.
No, they do. They do well. I mean, it's the thing is that they were playing the third string quarterback. So that would have to say they had 4 turnovers against the Ravens, which is why it's going to be a better matchup next week, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But but yeah, no, I mean the defense has still been holding its own for this entire year. Like you said, Joe Burrow gets a lot of that credit because he does know how to win, but that defense keeps him in that game for him to win.
Yep, I'm looking forward to the Bengals and I'm looking forward to the entire AFC playoffs. This first round doesn't look like it's going to be too great, but I feel like we're in for some great second round matchups.
I agree.
All right, you got anything else on the Ravens Bengals?
I guess real quick we could talk about the Mixon coin flip celebration.
Yeah, that was great.
That was pretty funny.
That was good.
Sticking it to Goodell.
Mm-hmm. Good old. I love those celebrations. Mm-hmm. All right, Ravens lose to the Bengals 16-27. Let's quickly go over Jets Dolphins, and the only reason why I want to talk about this is because this was Dolphins win and get in type of situations. But if you took the over on this game, you deserve to lose.
Yeah,
the over under was set at 37, even though that's fairly low. If you look at Skylar Thompson versus Joe fucking Flacco. As good as these defenses are, and you didn't pick the under, sorry, dude.
Yeah, you should probably stop betting if you didn't bet all your money with that.
I've been seeing these memes going around of the Miami Dolphins bringing Tua into the game, and it's just basically carrying around Weekend at Bernie's, and it's just holding him up. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna start, but let's put it this way: I don't think he should start. As fragile as he is right now.
Yeah, but the thing is if he doesn't start, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. And then people were asking for Mike McDaniels' head. I was like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that was another one.
This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, that's really bad because the thing is we've seen what they can do when they have a healthy quarterback and everything's clicking.
Yeah, exactly. They're really good. One One thing I did want to talk about, I think the media can be a cancer. I think it can be a cancer for the locker room. I think you have to be a robot in front of the media nowadays because think about it. Zach Wilson and the Jets, like obviously Joe Flacco started the first 2 games, but when Zach Wilson started, they were 5-2. After that Patriots game where he said it wasn't his fault and everything, they went 1-6 since. You have to control yourself around the media. Like it's and like you can say coincidence, yeah, maybe, but I think there was a solid once that answer hit the air. I think that's when the whole dynamic of that team just switched.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the thing is we live in an age now. You're not getting all your news from the newspaper, from the newspaper boy that drops it off. Like it's on the TVs, it's on your social media, it's all around you. So it's really hard for people to not see what other people are saying, even though they teach coaches are always adamant about telling them like, hey. Telling their players to be professional and not, heed into all the talk outside noise.
Right. And these reporters, they're really, like, I'm not shouting out the reporters, but they are really good at what they do. They find new ways to ask the same question. They figure out what makes other people tick. Like, you got to become a fucking robot like Bill Belichick is.
Yeah.
You just have to say the same fucking things over and over, be able to identify which questions are trying to tick you off and deal with them. Like I really do think the media spread as a cancer throughout the locker room.
Yeah. I agree. I think one player that exhibits a real good I guess just self-control, yeah. Actually would be, but also is a good player in the locker room is Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah, he exemplifies it to it.
Yeah, because he'll keep a straight face talk with the media, but then you see him in the locker room. He's a boy. He's all the players love him. He's got himself a stogie every time they win and such. So like there's a time to be yourself and have a personality. Get yourself more chemistry with the team and kind of. But also at the same time, you got to withhold it from the media.
Yeah, it's like what I do whenever. So like in my day-to-day life, I have my what's called work personality, and I have my regular personality. My work personality is not somebody completely different. It's just a little more buttoned up, a little more professional.
Yep.
That's what you got to do. And I get it. Emotions are running high and blah blah blah. But you got to be able to mentally put yourself in a work state.
Yep.
You got anything else in this game?
That's it.
All right, Jets lose to the Dolphins 6-11. Congratulations, Dolphins Nation. Steelers versus Browns. Dude, the Steelers were this close to the playoffs.
They were so close.
Oh, it killed me, man. I would much rather see the Steelers in the playoffs than the Dolphins. It's like it's just weird not having the Steelers in the playoffs. It just feels different.
It does. It does feel different. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like they're off the edge. It just seems like now they're like they just finished their rebuilding process. They're going to be ready for next year.
I don't know, man. Kenny Pickett was slinging it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that Hayward catch, that was one of the best catches of the year. I think the way he had to like work his body around, he was tossing it. I mean, the Steelers have something fun going on. Now I know a lot of them don't really like Tomlin, and this is probably not the best thing to happen, going out on top and almost making the playoffs for him, because I know that a lot of people were trying to get rid of him. They don't think he's a good coach. They think he's a good manager in the locker room. Like he can handle the personalities and such, but they don't think he's a great coach. I like him. I think he's a good coach.
I would be happy to have him at the Saints. So if they want to do some sort of trade going on, because I know Sean Payton's not coming back to us anyways, I'll be willing for that one.
Yep, I agree. Joe, I guess the Browns defense listened to us.
Oh yeah,
they punched the ball out at the goal line.
I know, I saw that.
Najee Harris was jumping over the pile, and they just smacked it away.
Just smacked the ball. Yep.
I mean, that's what you got to do. You just got to have a ball spy.
I'm glad to see that we have some fans in Cleveland.
Yeah, right? Oh, that's nice. Good old Cleveland.
Yep.
Very, very cold, but it's fun. They have a good. You know what? That sports town. We need to give them some love, because they stick by. I've lived just south of Cleveland in Akron for a couple of years, and they stand by their fucking Browns year in, year out of just constant QB changes, constant misery from ownership, or upper management doing dumb decisions, just constantly, and they stick by their side. So you know what, Cleveland? Here's to you. Good for you guys. You got anything else?
I think that's about it.
All right. Steelers beat the Browns 28-14. They almost made it. Giants versus Eagles. Giants sat most of their starters. We knew the Eagles were going to win.
The Eagles got this number one pick.
I was kind of hoping Kenny Golladay would get 76 catches. That would have been funny.
Yeah, then he would have got that bonus.
Yeah, so in case y'all missed it, Kenny Golladay needed only 76 catches in this game to get his $175,000 incentive bonus or whatever it was.
He made quite an effort. He was short by 74.
Oh, he was on. Good for you, Kenny. The Eagles should have done better. This is a poor performance against backups. Yes, I am saying this out of spite and because I'm angry that I lost my bet because they won. But that was pathetic. They should have played much better than they did against a Giants team that was sitting everybody. I hope the Giants go to the Super Bowl now.
Oh, yeah?
I hope they go to the Super Bowl.
Pulling Eli Manning?
Yeah, just pulling Eli Manning. Beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Or they'll probably have to beat Tom Brady. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. But, yeah, I just fuck the Eagles, dude. I hope they lose every single game. I hope they lose the bye.
I hope they lose the bye?
Yeah. Okay.
I
hope they have to play somebody who's a matchup nightmare for them.
Gotcha.
You got anything else on this?
Interesting.
What you got on this?
I'm done.
All right. Giants lose to the Eagles 16-22. Another just doozy. Rams versus Seahawks. I was hoping just for the sake of having a great Sunday night game, which we ended up having, the Rams would win, and they almost did it. But I guess I gotta say this. Props to Seattle. Props to Pete Carroll and Seattle for making what we thought was shambles of a team at the beginning of the season and bringing them to the playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
And not only bringing them to the playoffs, making Geno Smith a Pro Bowl player.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the Pro Bowl, Joseph. He has the highest completion percentage in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Honestly, and then also, I mean, if you look at that core now, they have a core set of players that, quite frankly, all real young guys that look like are going to be, cornerstones for quite a run for in the next couple of years.
Like I don't think Geno Smith is going to be the guy to get there, but I do think Pete Carroll might be like a Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan in that he doesn't need a stud quarterback to get there.
No.
Like Kyle Shanahan has shown us time and time again, you can win with anybody behind the under center.
Well, he understands that, quarterback is one position of 11, that are on the field at one time. So, you got to strengthen up the other, parts of the team. Obviously, wide receiver was a pretty good, was pretty good already with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but they needed to beef up the running game, which they got Kenneth Walker. Mm-hmm. They end up getting some offensive linemen, and they needed to really. Their defense had been pretty atrocious the last couple of years, and they beefed up the defense. Yep. Now. I mean, they got Tyreek Woolen, who
Woolen's nasty.
Yeah, I think he's tied for the most amount of interceptions this year with 6, with C.J. Gardner Johnson.
I think so, yeah.
And so I mean, just honestly, just actually doing great roster management and trying to get themselves a team together that, a quarterback doesn't have to come in and win it every game for you. They just come in and actually just manage the game and do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. Yeah, and to your point, Jordan Brooks has number 5. He's number 5 in total tackles with 161. That's how I tell if somebody's a dog on the defense. Mm-hmm. If you're in the top, if you crack the top 10, top 15 in total tackles for a season, you a dog.
That's hustling. That's
a guy I want on my team.
Yeah.
And Jordan Brooks, 161 tackles, top 5 in the league. I want him on my team.
Yeah.
The last thing I have on this is I don't know if I've ever been more excited for a team's offseason than the Rams.
For the Rams, huh?
Dude, I mean, they have to be making some changes, right?
Well, it makes sense. I mean, honestly, there's a report that's already out that Sean McVay told his assistants that they can look for other jobs.
Yeah, yep.
So
they can move laterally.
Yep, you got the whole situation with Sean McVay maybe not coming back.
I like how it's called move laterally.
Move laterally.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I like saying that because it makes me sound smart.
Honestly, what I picture is them doing the lateral, exercise where you got to go side to side, the lateral movements. That's when I think of them moving from job to job laterally. That's what I think of.
They're like maybe doing the can't touch this dance.
Yes,
like the parachute pants,
exactly.
MC Hammer, or like what's that John Travolta movie where they're like him and the girl are just like staring at each other and like hip thrusting or whatever.
You talking about Grease?
It might be Grease. I don't know. I can't remember, but I keep seeing it in memes. Anyways, but yeah, I really do think that the Rams offseason is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good time. I think it'll be interesting to see where everybody goes, what they end up doing with their roster. So, because this was not a good season for them.
No, not really.
You got anything else on this?
That's about it.
All right, Rams lose to the Seahawks 16-19 in overtime. Real quick, 49ers, Cardinals, bye-bye Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury's gone. Yep. I think they just revert the players, back to 2012 where, AJ Green and JJ Watt were monsters. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, all the rest of the teams were probably in high school at that time. So, that's how they played.
Yep. That's exactly what it was. Nice. You got anything else?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. 49ers mollywop the Cardinals 38-13. Cowboys versus Commanders. Joe, stop me if you've seen this before.
Okay.
The Cowboys doing great during the year, fall off at the end.
All right, stop.
Okay.
I stopped you.
Thank you. Because there really isn't much more. They just, it's terrible. They're not good. They're just, I don't know what it is, but once it gets close to the fucking playoffs, they just fall apart.
Yeah, and I mean, Dak's getting ripped by the media right now, and the Cowboys are getting ripped. I mean,
there is good reason because like he there was a couple of games there he hasn't played because he was injured, and he's still leading the league in interceptions.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you could point maybe like, oh, Dallas wasn't playing for anything, but technically they were still playing for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, they were playing for something for sure.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy had, you know how he gets this dumbfounded look on his face.
Yeah,
he had a dumbfounded look on his face.
He's got that deer in the headlight looks for sure. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, they are getting ripped apart by the media. I don't know if the media is trying to fuel them for a playoff run, but I don't know. I wouldn't put my money on it because given the past history of the Dallas Cowboys in the playoff and the fact that they have to go against Tom Brady.
Dude, and they couldn't put up more than 6 points against the Commanders. Like, I get it it started with the bobble punt and kind of went downhill from there, but you gotta like turn it around. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like, you're going to see defenses like the Washington Commanders in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're going to have to play again. You're going to have to do something, yeah.
Figure it out. You got anything else in this one?
That's about it.
All right, Cowboys lose to the Commanders 6-26. Last game, Lions versus Packers. Lions, I don't think people told them that they weren't going to be able to make the playoffs.
Somebody forgot to tell them. Either somebody told like Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell's like, no, they're not hearing the news.
No,
like, I'm not going to allow it.
Dan Campbell probably just didn't believe him. He said, no, go fuck yourself. And this is all right. So this is pretty much what happens to a rah-rah team when they get pissed off. This is why I like rah-rah teams. They play based on emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like it's like, oh, we're not going to the playoffs. You're not going to the playoffs, bro.
Yeah.
So, and that's just the way it seemed. Like they were playing with piss and vinegar, dude. It was like they were fired up. They were playing to win the game.
They were. Jamal Williams broke Barry Sanders' record for, touchdowns in a season.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, no, like you said, they were playing hard, and heck, the coaches were even playing hard. The play caller was insane.
It was incredible, dude. And Kirby Joseph, the safety for the Lions, he was all over Aaron Rodgers. Anything Aaron Rodgers threw that way, he should have had 3 interceptions.
I was about to say he set the record because Aaron Rodgers never had 3 interceptions in the same season by a player against him. He should have had 5 in the season because there was 2. One that he missed, and then the other one got called back because of a penalty.
Yep. And he had 2 of them in game 1.
Yep.
It's just Kirby Joseph loves picking off Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago. Kirby Joseph owns Aaron Rodgers. So Kirby Joseph and Chicago are best friends.
They're best friends. Yeah. Like you said, they were playing. They were playing to win the game. They going for it on 4th and 2 to end the game. They went for it on 4th and 2 with 9 minutes left. On the opposite, they couldn't. When they could have kicked a field goal to tie it, or to go up by 7, or no, to tie it.
Yeah.
And he just kept going for it. Like, he played that game to win that game.
Yeah.
And you piss off a rah-rah team, that's what you get.
I'll have to give credit to Dan Campbell because, that's you instill the winning mentality from there because it's like, even if they don't have anything to play for, you're still getting these guys to play to win. And that mentality is going to go a long way, like, I think, in the future.
That is nice especially when you're going up against a team who's clearly more talented than you.
Yeah.
So, you got anything else in this?
That's it.
All right. Neither the Lions nor the Packers are going to the playoffs. Lions beat the Packers 20-16. Let's quickly talk about this national championship game. What the fuck, TCU? Like, what the actual fuck? If I hear from another fucking person that they went to bed at halftime because it was just a blowout, I'm gonna like, what happened, man? We had such a good like the first round was awesome. The bowl games were leading up to it were awesome. Like, we had some great fucking games, and then just. Did they forget they had a game?
I knew the disparity of talent was overwhelming. I just didn't want to see it get displayed, and that's really what we saw.
I think we did know that. We did realize this.
We knew this.
You think like the Georgia might have been looking ahead when they played Ohio State, or like what do you think? Or do you think Ohio State could have just mollywopped TCU as well?
I think TCU put all their eggs in one basket. They put all their eggs into, beating a Michigan team to get to the national championship, and then they ran out of gas.
That makes a lot more sense because it was 65-7. Like, they didn't score a single point in the second half. Make some second half adjustments. Like, I know you're getting mollywopped, but fuck, man.
I feel like they probably played, like, all the TCU starters played, like, 60 minutes, every single one of them, whereas, like, Georgia probably was subbing out a bunch of guys during the Ohio State game.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I see. During the Michigan game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I was really just kind of hoping for, like, for a little bit better of a game, like a close first half, and then Georgia maybe runs away with it, like, late in the third, early fourth, That's what I was hoping for, at least. I figured Georgia was going to win, and the 13.5-point spread I thought was actually kind of fine.
Yeah, but I thought so too. I knew Georgia was going to win, but
yeah, it was just funny. Georgia hit the over by themselves. It was 62.5, and they got scored 65.
Jeez.
But you got anything else in the Natty?
No, there's really not much to talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more you just feel bad for TCU.
Yeah, I really do. Like, congratulations, Georgia. I mean, they repeated it, which doesn't happen very often. It had the 2012 and 13 Alabama teams did it, and then after that, I can't think of anybody who's done it since then. Like, it's been I feel like it happens more in the pros than it does college.
Well, they've got for the back-to-back championships, they had Alabama's done it.
Yeah.
They try to claim USC, but that's bullshit.
No, that's bullshit.
That's
LSU won the national championship in 2003. We hoisted the BCS fucking trophy. We had that glass fucking football. USC can go fuck themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe just don't lose games.
And then in the 80s, somebody else did it.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't had it in a long time.
Well, yeah. I mean,
like
besides
Alabama, it doesn't happen very often. Like we have repeat Super Bowls in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. But they have the dynasties and such.
And same with so like it is history. It's history. So good job, Stetson Bennett and the Georgia Bulldogs. Even though you're a little shit, you're not going to do anything in the NFL.
Right? His personality doesn't match his story.
No. You got anything else in that?
Nah, that's about it.
All right. Let's get to the preview real quick, and then we'll send you on your way. Let's start with the Seahawks versus 49ers. What's your let's go with the spread first. Spread's -9.5 49ers. What you got?
I think it's going to be a little closer than that. I think the Seahawks could make a game out of this. So spread wise, I'll take Seahawks with it because yes, I know San Fran is very, very good. They got a lot of good players, but this is Brock Purdy's first time in a playoff game. Mm-hmm. And playoffs are a lot different than the regular season. So I think that takes them by surprise a little bit, but I think they do pull it out. I just think it's going to be close.
Okay, I like it. I mean, I agree with you. If I was a betting man, I'd probably bet the Seahawks. Yeah, Seahawks plus 9.5. 49ers definitely going to win this game. I don't see how the Seahawks can pull this off. But then again, Pete Carroll's the fucking man. So I would bet.
I could see them going up early and then San Fran having to catch up, which is why I would take Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the over/under is 42.5. What you doing?
Over/under 42.5. I didn't really do the over and unders, but I'll just do it spitball on the top of my head. Give me the over. I think I can see them both scoring about 20 points.
Right. I'm going under. I think it's going to be a tight one.
Okay.
Let's go to Chargers at the Jaguars. Chargers are -1.5. I'll take it.
Chargers -1.5?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think?
That's a tough one because this is at Jacksonville, and I really haven't liked the way Chargers have played lately. So give me Jacksonville money line right there.
Oh, Jacksonville money line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think Dougie P. He's got some tricks up his sleeve.
I love it.
He's gonna do some Philly specials and call it Jacksonville specials.
Jacksonville. 47.5 points over under.
Points will be scored. Give me the over.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the under again. Damn, I'm being boring today.
Well, honestly, under is very safe for playoffs because everything gets tense up. It's kind of a slower game, more of a chess match. It does make sense on unders.
Okay. Dolphins versus Bills. Bills -9.5.
Give me Bills 9.5.
Bills. I think the Bills are going to wreck the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's going to be a blowout.
I think it's going to be the over is 46.5, and I think it's going to be over. Bills -9.5.
Still have a chip on their shoulder with DeMar Hamlin playing DeMar Strong. Yeah, give me the Bills.
Over under. It's 46.5.
It would have to be. I feel like it would have to be all Bills to do it. Give me the under.
Under. Okay. We've been different on the over/under every game. New York Giants versus the Vikings. Vikings -3. I have no idea what this one.
Honestly, my notes on this is like I could see it both. I could literally see it both ways. Mm-hmm. Most of the times I usually see the opposite view as it's happening. It's like, oh yeah, this is really what could happen. But I could see both scenarios being a really realistic possibility. Shoot.
It's not a primetime time. It's at 3:30. So,
remind me again, what does that mean for Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins is not good in primetime.
Oh, okay. So, give me Kirk Cousins then. -3.
-3? God, this is such a fucking tough one. Yeah, I'd say go Vikings -3. I'm going to pick the under on this one, 48.5. I'm picking the under.
I think the over. Vikings don't really have a good defense. I think Giants are going to score on them, but Vikings are just going to score more.
Gotcha. All right, Ravens at Bengals. Bengals -7. I'm taking Bengals -7, and I'm going to take the over. Over-under's at 42. I think they're going to score more points this time. I don't think they're going to let their foot off the gas in the second half.
What's this over-under?
42. It's a low one.
Give me the over with Lamar Jackson playing. He'll still score some points. Man, this is a tough one. I think the Ravens will come out and play a little bit better, but give me Joe Burrow and Joe Cool.
Bengals -7. All right, last one. Cowboys versus Buccaneers. Cowboys -2.5. I got the Bucks. I'll take the Bucks money line.
Bucks money line.
I'll take Bucks money line all day, especially with this game. I don't even need the +2.5.
It's at Tampa Bay, isn't it?
And Tom Brady is playing against the Cowboys. What the fuck you think is going to happen?
In the playoffs, too. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, throw out whatever Tom Brady did during the season. It's playoff time. Yeah, Brady's gonna come out. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it with you.
Bucks money line? Let's go.
Bucks money line.
All right, we got 45.5 as the over-under.
Give me over.
I think the over, too.
Yeah.
Good deal. Alrighty. Playoff time, baby. Let's go. We will see y'all next week.
Later.